What's going on, everybody? It's Eric, and we are still continuing our trek through Security Plus offered by CompTIA. Now, these are just tidbits and little nooks and crannies that we're covering inside of the actual CompTIA Security Plus content to make sure that we have an understanding of little odds and ends to make sure that the student is ready and prepared to take that Security Plus examination. And in this one, we're going to be covering one of the specific exam content areas, and that is Objective 1.5, explain different threat actors, vectors, and intelligence sources. Now, for those students at Panola College, this is coming out of Chapter 2 of our book that we have for our cybersecurity courses. And we are looking at how a threat vector is classified inside of the CompTIA world. So that's broken down into a few different areas. And the first one is understanding what exactly a threat vector is. And at the root of it, that's how the threat is actually getting there. So even though there are different attack surfaces that an attacker can use to actually compromise or penetrate or hack a system, how they get there is the threat vector of it all. And we're going to be covering the individual threat vectors that CompTIA covers inside of Security Plus. Now, the first one is direct access, and this can be done through system exploitation and is commonly known as a hack. And when we take a look at direct access, we're talking about physical access to the individual system. Now, that could be this particular system right here that we're using to record. Somebody actually comes up to it and uses a device to be able to break the password, or let's say I accidentally left it logged in and walked away. They have direct access to the system as a threat vector. The next one is wireless networks. An attacker can sniff the traffic on the wireless network. And for more details about how we actually sniff the traffic, do check out the Wireshark videos that we're starting to put up here on the channel. So what do we mean by actually sniffing the traffic over a wireless network? Well, if we're taking a listen over a system that has let's say a wireless sniffer on it set up to something like TCP dump or Wireshark to be able to record that traffic, we can actually start going in there and figuring out which system is what and analyze even down to the WPA or WEP passwords or phrases that allow us to get on that private network. We can get IP addresses, we can get MAC addresses, and we can even see traffic coming to and from the individual systems. And as we also have to remember the data at rest and data at motion thing. So if the data is at rest, it's on the individual system. If data is at motion, we can see it going over the wire. But that threat vector is an attacker using the wireless network. Removable media is our next threat vector, and that's classifying thumbsticks, CDs, DVDs, just random things that we can plug into the computer. Now, I do want to point out, don't trust random things that are dropped off and asked of you to plug into an individual system. And if you do have to plug something into an individual system, do contact your IT professionals for your organization. And if you're by yourself, I recommend a dummy system that is not connected to the internet and always updated with a anti-malware, antivirus program. Scan it, see if there's anything wrong with it before you plug it into your actual production system, because there may be a malicious program on that removable media that allows compromise into that system. Then we have cloud attack. So this threat vector is actually happening over the cloud, and it's very similar to a direct access threat vector. But the attacker is scanning everything remotely that they can. They're trying to see everything that's in the cloud's service for a vulnerability to gain access. So this one can be done from the comfort of home. And if you know just a basic idea of what some of the IPs are, or FQDNs, or fully qualified domain names of that cloud service, let's say like Google, for instance, or AWS, Amazon Web Service, you could start sniffing out the rest of everything inside of that cloud infrastructure. Once you have your mapping put out, the attacker will then do a vulnerability assessment to see if there's any possible way to infiltrate that actual cloud service. But once we're in, and I say we because I do pen testing as well, and when we're in, we can actually start pivoting left and right to see if we can leverage any other system that has similar or other vulnerabilities. And that's using a threat vector over the cloud. And then the last one we're going to cover is third-party threat vector. And this can be done by downloaded software. Think like, let's say you're going to a website and we're downloading a piece of software that is not installed through a approved vendor for an organization, or something that is not digitally signatured through a certificate, let's say like Microsoft Office with Microsoft. But this would be something along the lines of something you got off the torrent. Yes, I'm looking at you. You know who you are. If you download something off the torrent, this is one of those things that needs to be scanned. Now, I'm not saying do or don't use torrents and all that other stuff. What I am saying is that anything that's coming from an outside source that's not verified by you or your organization needs to be vetted. And part of that vetting process is making sure that that file, folder, whatever it is, gets scanned by antivirus or anti-malware software. Now, we're talking like intrusion protection systems on the host base. So this would be referred to as a HIPS. Now, we know that HIPS, host-based intrusion protection systems, actively find something and do something with it because it's being proactive. Whereas an intrusion detection system just finds it and notifies us, hey, there might be something wrong. Now, as always, if you're enrolled in the Panola program, do go back and read Chapter 2 to make sure that we have a fair understanding in more detail what these threat vectors are and what it means to utilize a threat vector. But for all of us here on the channel, students included, that's pretty much threat vectors in a nutshell and how to prepare for taking the CompTIA Security Plus exam when it concerns threat vectors. As always, thank you for following, subscribing, and sharing to your friends. If you have any other ideas, comment below and let me know if there's anything in particular you want to see on this channel or have us cover, or if there's any other examples that you want us to do on the channel, such as messing with Wireshark, stuff like that. Anyway, y'all take care. See you in the next one.